Kofi walked slowly through the busy city streets. His clothes were old and his shoes had holes. People passed by, but nobody looked at him. Kofi had been homeless for many years. Every night he slept on a cold bench under a broken streetlight. He often wondered if life would ever change. The city was full of noise, but for him, it was full of silence. Hunger filled his stomach, but he had no food. Still, he kept hope in his heart. One day, he whispered to himself, something good will happen. Little did he know, tomorrow would bring a moment that would change his life forever. That evening, Kofi found a small piece of bread in a trash bin. His hands trembled as he held it. He was so hungry, but he also knew this bread could be his only food for the day. As he sat on the bench, he noticed a stranger walking slowly, looking weak and lost. The man's name was Amara. His face showed sadness, and he looked even hungrier than Kofi. Kofi's heart felt heavy. He looked at the bread in his hand, then at Amara. With a gentle smile, Kofi stood up and said, "Here, you need this more than me." Amara's eyes filled with tears. Amara took the bread carefully, as if it was the greatest gift in the world. "Why would you help me when you have nothing?" Amara asked softly. Kofi smiled weakly. "Because I know how it feels to be hungry." Amara ate slowly, thanking him again and again. For the first time in days, Kofi felt warmth in his heart. Helping someone else gave him strength. They talked for a while. Amara told him he was new to the city, searching for work, but he had no money and nowhere to sleep. That night, both men sat together under the streetlight, sharing stories. A new friendship began. Before sleeping, Kofi closed his eyes and prayed silently. "God, I don't ask for riches. I just ask for a chance. Please guide me." Amara listened quietly, touched by Kofi's words. He realized this homeless man had more kindness than many rich people. The night was cold, but they shared their thin blanket. Kofi dreamed of better days. Amara dreamed of finding a job. Neither of them knew that fate was already moving. The bread had not only fed Amara's stomach, but it had also planted a seed of change. Tomorrow, life would take a new turn that Kofi never expected. The next morning, Kofi and Amara were sitting near the park when a shiny black car stopped. The window rolled down, and a man in a suit looked at them. His name was Mr. Aid, a successful businessman. He was watching them with curious eyes. "I saw what you did yesterday," Mr. Aid said. "You gave your only food to this man." Kofi felt shy. "It was nothing," he whispered. But Mr. Aid shook his head. "No, young man, it was everything. Kindness is rare in this world." Kofi didn't understand why this stranger was interested. But Amara smiled, feeling something important was about to happen. Mr. Aid stepped out of the car. His shoes were shiny and his smile was warm. He looked at Kofi and said, "Come with me. I want to show you something." Kofi froze. Nobody had ever invited him anywhere before. Amara nodded. "Go, brother. Maybe this is your chance." With nervous steps, Kofi followed Mr. Aid into the car. The leather seats felt soft and rich. His heart beat fast. He didn't know if he should trust this man. But something inside told him this moment was special. For the first time, Kofi was leaving the streets and stepping into a new story. The car stopped in front of a tall building. It touched the sky with its glass windows. Kofi's mouth opened in surprise. Mr. Aid smiled. "This is my company." Inside, people in suits walked quickly with files and laptops. Everyone stared at Kofi's old clothes, but Mr. Aid raised his hand. "He is my guest," he announced. They entered a big office with golden frames and bookshelves. Kofi sat down nervously. Mr. Aid looked serious now. "Kofi, I believe people like you deserve a chance. I want to hear your story." With a deep breath, Kofi began to speak about his life. Kofi told Mr. Aid everything. How his parents had died when he was young, how he lost his small job, how he ended up on the streets. He explained how people ignored him, as if he was invisible. Mr. Aid listened carefully, his eyes full of respect. "You have suffered much," he said softly. "But your kindness still shines." Kofi's eyes watered. Nobody had ever said kind words to him before. For a moment, he felt like he mattered. Mr. Aid leaned forward. "I want to help you, but you must promise me one thing. Never lose your kindness." Kofi nodded firmly. Mr. Aid smiled. "I will give you a job in my company." Kofi's eyes widened. "Me? But I have no skills." Mr. Aid shook his head. Skills can be learned, but kindness and honesty cannot be bought. You already have those. Kofi felt his heart race with joy. For the first time in years, hope was real. He looked out the window and whispered, "Thank you, God." Amara, who had waited outside, came rushing in. When Kofi told him the news, Amara shouted with happiness, "See, brother? Your kindness has found its way back to you." The next morning, Kofi wore new clothes Mr. Aid had given him. He looked at himself in the mirror and almost didn't recognize the man staring back. He walked into the office with shaking hands, but people smiled at him. Mr. Aid introduced him as a new assistant. At first, Kofi was nervous. He dropped some files and forgot directions. But he kept trying, learning from mistakes. The workers soon noticed his humble nature and started to respect him. At night, Kofi walked past his old bench. It was empty now because he had a new beginning. His heart was full of hope. Kofi didn't forget Amara. Every day after work, he brought food for him. They sat together and laughed. "I will not leave you behind," Kofi promised. Amara smiled. "Your kindness saved me. I believe your future will be bright." Slowly, Amara also started helping at the company. Mr. Aid noticed their teamwork. "You two remind me of my younger days," he said. "Loyalty and friendship matter more than money." Kofi and Amara nodded, knowing their bond was special. Life on the streets had been hard, but it had created a friendship stronger than gold. One evening, Mr. Aid called Kofi to his office. "I want to test you," he said. He placed a bag of money on the table. "Take this home with you. Tomorrow, bring it back." Kofi's eyes widened. The bag was full of cash. He could run away and live rich forever. But he remembered his promise. Kindness and honesty. That night he didn't sleep. The money tempted him, but his heart whispered, "Do what is right." In the morning, he walked into the office and returned the bag untouched. Mr. Aid smiled proudly. "You passed, Kofi." Mr. Aid clapped his hands, and two workers entered with a box. Inside was a set of new clothes, a phone, and keys. "These are for you," Mr. Aid said. "From today, you will not only work here, you will live in one of my apartments." Kofi's jaw dropped. An apartment? A real home? His eyes filled with tears. He hugged Mr. Aid tightly. "Thank you, sir." That night, when Kofi entered his new apartment, he lay on the bed and touched the soft blanket. "This feels like a dream," he whispered. But it was not a dream. It was his new life. Days turned into weeks. Kofi woke up early, dressed neatly, and went to work. He learned quickly, and his confidence grew. He smiled more, laughed often, and made new friends. Amara also joined the company, working side by side with him. They often remembered their days on the street and promised never to forget where they came from. Every evening, Kofi prayed with gratitude. His life was not perfect, but it was filled with hope and love. The city lights no longer looked cold. For the first time, they looked like stars guiding his future. But life is never without challenges. One day, a group of men from Kofi's past appeared. They were thieves he once knew from the streets. "Kofi," one of them sneered, "you forgot us now that you're rich?" They tried to convince him to steal from the company. "Nobody will know," they whispered. Kofi's heart pounded. He remembered the cold nights, the hunger, the pain. But he also remembered Mr. Aid's trust. "No," Kofi said firmly. "I will not betray the man who gave me a chance." The thieves grew angry. Trouble was coming. The thieves did not give up. They followed Kofi and tried to trick him. One night, they broke into his apartment and left money on the table. They wanted him to be blamed. When Kofi saw it, his heart sank. If Mr. Aid found the money, he might lose everything. But instead of hiding it, Kofi walked straight to Mr. Aid's office and explained everything. Mr. Aid listened carefully. "You did the right thing," he said. Security cameras proved Kofi was innocent. The thieves were caught and arrested. Kofi realized honesty would always protect him, even in dark times. One morning, Mr. Aid called a big meeting in the company hall. All the workers gathered. Kofi and Amara stood nervously in the front row. Mr. Aid raised his voice. "This young man came to us from the streets. He had nothing. But he gave his last bread to a stranger. His kindness touched me. His honesty saved him. And his hard work has inspired us all." Everyone clapped loudly. Then Mr. Aid smiled and said, "From today, Kofi will not just be an assistant. He will be a manager in this company." Kofi gasped in shock. His dream had finally come true. Kofi now sat at a big desk with his own office. He wore suits and gave instructions to others, but he never let pride enter his heart. He still greeted the cleaners, thanked the guards, and smiled at everyone. Amara worked beside him, proud of his friend. At night, Kofi often visited the park where he once slept. He gave food and clothes to the homeless. "I was one of you once," he told them kindly. Never lose hope. Life can change in a day. His words gave them courage. He was proof that kindness always returns. Months passed and Kofi saved money. Instead of buying fancy things, he started a small shelter for homeless people. "This is for those who are forgotten," he said. The shelter gave food, beds, and warm clothes. Amara helped him run it. Together, they turned pain into purpose. People in the city began to respect Kofi not just for his success, but for his heart. Mr. Aid was proud. "You have become more than I expected," he said. Kofi smiled. "I just followed what you taught me, to never lose kindness." One evening, Kofi sat by the window of his apartment. The city lights shone like diamonds. He remembered the cold bench, the hunger, the loneliness. Now he had a home, a job, a family of friends, and a purpose. Amara entered and laughed. "Brother, can you believe this is our life now?" Kofi smiled, tears in his eyes. It all started with one piece of bread. They raised their hands in prayer, thankful for every blessing. Kofi's story was no longer about being homeless. It was about hope, kindness, and the power of one good choice. His life had truly changed forever. Please like and subscribe for more interesting videos.